and welcome to All About Community. My name is Robert L. Harris, and I am your host. I am so excited today. Ask me why am I excited? I'm excited because I have George Holland, who is president of the NAACP Oakland, as my guest. George has made several appearances, and today I am especially pleased because we're going to talk about a lot of interesting stuff. George, welcome to All About Community.
Thank you for inviting me. It's always a pleasure to be here and speak to our people.
Well, George has been around for a long time. Of course, I have too. George and I go back 50 years when we were deputy probation officers. George and I both attended law school, and we have known each other personally, as I said before, for over 50 years. And we work together, most of all. We have really worked together for the NAACP and many other organizations, including the California Association of Black Lawyers, where we both were founders of. George, let's talk a little bit about what's going on locally, nationally with the NAACP. Any particular issues that's going on nationally?
Yes. On the national front, battlefield, whatever you want to characterize it, is that there has been escalation of race-fueled violence against African Americans in particular.
Are you referring to the shooting at the in Buffalo, New York, by this young white man who slaughtered 10 black people? Are you referencing that in particular?
Yeah, that is a frightening occurrence, because we think back to in North Carolina, I guess it was, when they killed the 9 people in the church. But I think there's another collateral issue that you have to pay attention to, is that when this young man, 18 years of age, was arrested, he wasn't shot, he wasn't killed. He was arrested, it was a peaceful arrest. And then you think about Kyle Rittenhouse in Wisconsin, when he killed those 2 people and wounded another 1 or 2. They didn't kill him, or they didn't shoot him, they didn't wound him. They arrested him without any violence. It was a peaceful
and in
arrest.
both instances, these men were armed, heavily armed, and in the case of the shooting of young black men, they're all unarmed. So you have to ask yourself why, right?
Why, when you stop a black person, that it ends up in a very terrible occurrence? Unfortunately, it seems to be the death or the wounding or the injuring of the black person. I mean, for an unarmed arrest, no crime committed, just an ordinary stop. And people say, why are you so afraid of police officers? Those police officers who would stop us don't seem to be trained properly. Because if they did, they would just arrest us like they arrest white people. What's the distinction?
Well, there is no distinction except they're white.
Yeah.
And you just have to admit that white people are treated differently, and they should not be treated differently, but they are.
What gets me is that there are certain slogans that are being exchanged throughout our nation. The creative race theory, replacement theories.
Yeah, let's talk about replacement theories. I mean, what's that's all about?
White people are in a minority.
Yeah, they still will
want
be.
Control. So what they are alleging is that they're being replaced by immigrants and black people in particular. And they're frightened by that. So they decided that we're going to make an issue of this. And they're so imaginative when they make up issues when it pertains to trying to keep people down and keep them controlled.
And they're taking up arms too, because there are more guns in the United States than people.
Second Amendment, don't you dare in any way attack the Second Amendment.
Well, there's nothing in the Second Amendment that ensures that they have a right to assault rifles. The Second Amendment deals with muskets. That's what they had in those days. I mean, a little old musket takes you how long to reload it?
Yeah, but you have to think about these folks are magicians. They create words. They're magic with words and slogans. And we unfortunately fall prey to these kind of things. So we should come up with our own slogans against them, and just retaliation, nothing violent, just let's get some slogans. I'm not talking about a racial slogan. But
Absolutely.
slogans, some kind of slogan.
Now, what about Republicans fighting so hard to keep blacks from voting by changing laws? Matter of fact, in Georgia, it's illegal to even give a person who's been waiting in line all day long, about to collapse, a glass of water.
Being a lawyer and being taught right from wrong, basically what's legal, what's not legal, to make a humane act of giving someone some water or some shade or some food is a criminal act?
Well, that's a good reason. They do that because if they can keep you from voting, that's what they want to do, discourage you from voting. They don't want you to vote.
Again, they're magicians, as I said. They learn how to keep control. If voting is what's going to determine who's going to run this country or run the state that you're living in.
Well, voting is the determining factor.
Supposedly. And the right to vote is supposed to be precious. And so everybody should be encouraged to vote. You should be able, they say if you got a license, a driver's license, you should get a ballot or whatever it is to take the vote and do it. But when it comes to us, they find ways to curtail our voting because they again want the minority to control the majority of the people, which it seems that the so-called old minority people are the majority. So they're using magic again to control. And we have to try to figure out what these magicians are doing to keep in control of us. Replacement theories, critical race theories. They don't even know where you came from.
Critical race theories. Let's talk about that in a moment, but we're going to have to go to break, so don't touch that remote. Matter of fact, just put it down. We will be right back with All About Community. My name is Robert L. Harris. I am your host, and my guest is George Holland, president of the Oakland branch, NAACP. We'll be right back.